You've probably felt this before. You start something new, a language, a skill, a subject. The first few days feel exciting. You feel motivated. You imagine how good you'll be in a few months. Then reality hits. Confusion shows up, mistakes pile up, progress slows. And eventually, you tell yourself the sentence that quietly kills most goals. Maybe this just isn't for me. In Japan, that sentence almost doesn't exist. Not because people don't struggle, but because struggle is expected. And more importantly, it's planned for. Here's the first thing most people get wrong. They think learning is about discovering talent. Japan treats learning as something you build. In many Japanese schools and workplaces, talent is assumed to be irrelevant. The question isn't who is gifted. The question is who is willing to repeat. When Japanese students or professionals start something new, they don't ask, am I good at this? They ask, what will I be able to do in 90 days if I don't quit? That question quietly removes pressure, because now the focus isn't on today's performance, it's on tomorrow's repetition. This mindset alone changes everything. The first secret of the 90-day approach is boring, and that's exactly why it works. Japanese learners front-load the basics aggressively. No shortcuts, no hacks, no jumping ahead. If it's a language, they repeat sounds before sentences. If it's a skill, they repeat form before speed. If it's knowledge, they repeat structure before details. In the West, we rush this part. We want to feel advanced. We want quick wins. We want proof we're improving.
In Japan, they want to feel stable. Think of it like building a house. Most people decorate rooms that don't have foundations yet. Japanese learners pour the foundation until it's unshakable. At first, this feels slow, almost pointless, like you're not making progress at all. And this is where most people quit. Not because they can't learn, but because progress doesn't feel exciting yet. But something interesting happens around week 3 or 4. Mistakes drop, movements feel smoother, recall becomes automatic, learning starts to feel lighter. Not because it got easier, but because the base is finally holding the weight. The second secret is feedback, not motivation, not inspiration, feedback. Japanese learning culture is built around tight feedback loops. Short practice, immediate correction, then repetition. Instead of studying for hours and hoping it worked, they test constantly. They expose mistakes early. They fix them before they harden into habits. In the West, we avoid feedback. It feels uncomfortable. It feels personal. It feels like failure. In Japan, feedback is neutral. It's not judgment, it's information. If something is wrong, you correct it. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Fixing a mistake on day 1 can save months later.
That's how 90 days becomes enough. The third secret is subtle, but it's the most powerful. Identity comes before results. Japanese learners don't wait to feel confident before committing. They commit first, not with motivation, with routine. I am someone who practices every day, not I practice when I feel like it. This removes decision-making. No debates, no emotional negotiation. Some days feel good, some days feel boring, some days feel terrible. The routine stays the same. This is why talent doesn't matter, because consistency quietly beats intensity, every time. Now here's something most people misunderstand about the 90 days. It's not about grinding nonstop. Japanese learners don't study longer, they return more often. Short sessions, daily contact, frequent recall. They don't disappear for days. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They touch the skill every single day, even briefly. 5 focused minutes beat 0 perfect hours. Another hidden reason this works is emotional safety. Japanese learners are taught that being bad at something is normal, expected, temporary. There's no rush to look impressive, no pressure to perform early. This removes fear, and fear is what blocks learning faster than lack of effort.
Around day 45 to 60, something changes. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly. The skill stops feeling foreign. Your brain doesn't tense up when you approach it. You don't feel that familiar resistance anymore, the kind that whispers, "This isn't for you." Mistakes still happen, plenty of them, but they feel smaller, more specific, more local. Instead of everything being wrong, only one thing is wrong, and that makes it fixable. You're no longer guessing blindly. You understand cause and effect. You know why something failed, and knowing why is half of learning. You also notice something subtle. You stop translating everything in your head. In the beginning, learning feels like mental traffic. Think, translate, second guess, correct. Every action passes through a filter of doubt. Every mistake feels heavy. But by this stage, that traffic thins out. Responses come faster. Movements feel smoother. Words arrive without force. You begin to respond instead of think. And this moment matters because response means familiarity, and familiarity is the doorway to confidence. Not fake confidence, earned confidence, the quiet kind. By day 90, you're no longer a beginner. Not because you reached some magic level, not because you unlocked talent, but because you stayed. You stayed when progress was boring. You stayed when nobody noticed. You stayed when motivation disappeared. You showed up on ordinary days.
And ordinary days did the work. This is the part nobody talks about. Most skills don't require talent. They require survival through the boring phase, that long middle stretch where excitement fades, where improvement is invisible, where quitting feels logical. That's where most people leave. Japan doesn't produce better learners. It produces learners who don't quit early. And this rhythm shows up everywhere. Martial arts, language learning, music, crafts, workplace training. Beginners repeat the same movements, the same sounds, the same drills, not because they lack imagination, but because repetition builds freedom. Small daily effort, clear feedback, long-term patience. This combination quietly beats raw talent every single time. Talent burns fast. Rhythm lasts. So if you failed before, here's the truth. It wasn't you. It was the method. You were asked to sprint when learning requires walking. You were told to feel motivated when motivation always fades. You weren't broken. The system was. You don't need confidence. You don't need motivation. You don't need talent. Those things come later, after repetition, after routine, after staying. What you actually need is rhythm, basics, feedback. Identity. Identity is the quiet promise you keep. I am someone who shows up, even when it's boring, even when it's slow. Here's the invitation. Pick one thing. Not 5, not 10. One. One skill, one subject, one habit. Give it 90 days. Not to master it, not to impress anyone, just to stay. Show up daily, even briefly. 5 minutes count. Consistency counts. Showing up counts. Repeat the boring parts, because boring is where foundations live. Correct mistakes early, before they harden into habits. And stop asking if you're good at it. That question only creates pressure. Ask instead, what happens if I don't quit? Because the Japanese way proves one thing. Learning isn't about who you are, it's about what you repeat. And repetition compounds, quietly, relentlessly. If you repeat the right things long enough, results stop being optional. They become inevitable. If this changed how you think about learning, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who feels stuck, someone who thinks they're not built for this. Subscribe if you want to build skills without growing out, without pressure, without pretending talent matters. The future doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the ones who stayed long enough to become good. And that can be you, starting today.